The price of gold and silver is going through the roof, guys. This is Fernando doing another video for the Modern Survivalist. And as you probably heard, yeah, it's an 12 year record high. Let me check that out right now. Kitco says gold at 2,300, and yes, $2,360. Gold, silver is going at $31, almost $32. And those are the prices at Kitco. Try buying these things now. You're gonna get closer to 35 for each one of these, each ounce of silver. I mean, shop around, find whatever works. But hey, the point is that yes, precious metals are going through a good time right now. Why is that? Well, because there's no trust in the economy. There's no trust in the fiat currencies. There's no trust in all of the things that we're being told that, yeah, inflation is under control. Things are working great. No, people don't buy that. People think that I'd rather have gold and silver. That's what I'd rather have, not so much those, all right? So yeah, guys, that's where we are as of right now. This has always been historically the case that when the economy looks shaky, people shelter themselves in precious metals or other assets. So let's cover a little bit of that, shall we? One of the first things you probably learn about all of this when getting into survival, preparedness, and looking at the financial aspect of this, which, by the way, if you are even considering any of that, strongly recommend getting Surviving the Economic Collapse, based on my experience going through just that in Argentina, as well as street survival skills with a bunch of practical advice so as to be ready and well prepared. You understand the concept of junk silver, right? The pre-64 coins of US being 90% silver. That's probably one of your best bets. Now, it also has to be said, there's a bunch of these counterfeits floating around. I see them being sold in AliExpress all the time. They're just made of steel, and they just look like a well-circulated junk silver quarter. Now, once you know a little bit about this, even the sound of it is weird, is off, right? But hey, they are all over the place. Let me actually show you one right here. Can you actually tell which one is fake or not? Right? Real? Question mark? Real and real. Which one of these is a fake one? Yes, of course, it's this one. But for the average person that doesn't know much and only understands, oh yeah, that's some Morgan. Oh well, it's not rare. It's not some rare year, or it hasn't got any. Where is it? San Francisco? Where is this thing from? Yeah. Okay, now this is super common. Why would anyone counterfeit this? Well, because they understand that people are into precious metals and junk silver is a thing, so they counterfeit these things, right? So be extremely careful. This sound is off. It's like too metally, like too ding, like too thin. That one. let me see if I can get it to. Silver, steel. But if you don't know enough about these things, it will not be as painfully obvious, and you will fall for this, especially when buying a big old bag of junk silver. So my advice, first piece of advice for anyone new to any of this, buy from a reliable company. I should get an affiliate of some kind. I don't have one right now. Shop around, what is it, Kitco and a bunch of others. Buy yourself those American Silver Eagles. The US Silver Eagle coins are one of the more recognizable ones, one of the less likely to end up with a counterfeit, especially when buying from a reputable seller. And that's your best bet. You're looking at a coin that will be super recognized, and it's 1 ounce of silver. This is basically, what is it right now, $35? That is not real. This is really not how much silver should go for. Silver is still way too cheap for what it is. Again, I'll just look if I find anything. I don't know if Amazon is selling things like these now, but anything that you find for a good price and someone you trust who you're buying it from, take the opportunity, go out into the world, talk with your pawn shop guy in your little community, wherever it is that is. Learn about these things, make friends, talk with people, be the guy that he calls when, hey, I had this old lady that came with a bunch of Swiss coins. I'm pretty sure these are all silver. You want to buy them? Sure. What's the price? Make a deal there. Work things out. There's other countries. It's not just US, but usually if you just want to keep it safe, go with that. Be extremely careful with numismatic coins unless they are kind of like this already, right? And unless they're already slabbed, you're looking at something that you will probably make a huge mistake. There's a massive difference between MS-64 and MS-69. Depending on the coin, you may be talking about thousands of dollars, and for your eye, there is literally no difference. You will have no clue how to tell if that coin is worth 100 or 5,000. Even if it's the exact same coin in terms of the year and the marking, just because of the kind of wear that it has, right? All of these things need to be graded by companies that do this professionally, right? Now, if, for example, I got this one, this is a slabbed MS-69 from West Point 216, right? I paid for basically what it cost back then. I don't remember how much it was, but it was a couple bucks over what it would have cost buying it without the plastic, or even maybe even $1 than it would have cost without the plastic thing, right? Why not buy it? Sure, go with that. But if you're going to buy a tube of coins, if you're going to buy a tube of 10, 20 coins, you want to get not something paying for plastic, pay for the silver. And then you do that yourself. You put a little bit of a plastic casing like this, which you should do, unless you have enormous amounts of wealth and like McDuck vaults, a walking vault full of of mountains of gold. Then you want to preserve this, because not only is it going to be more readily accepted when you're selling it, it will have a little bit of an increasing numismatic value. And you'd be a fool not to recognize that 10, 20 years from now, well, hey, how much does this thing cost now? What is it, like $100? Why the hell would I sell it for $50 or whatever silver is worth at that specific time? Or $5,000, who knows, right? Giving out things are these days. But yeah, and yes, of course, you have the older ones, the Morgans. I bought these. I bought like 5 of these from someone on eBay. He was selling it for the metal, man. And when I saw it, you're selling it slabbed already? That's pretty cool. Yeah, sure. I'll pay for that. That's okay. That's nice. And these, they even have a little bit of that toning going on, that's oxidation thing, which does not reduce the value at all. It actually increases for a lot of people, and that is pretty natural. That's not something, some guys do this artificially and they still sell it for nice money. But yeah, these ones I got for a good. Now, in terms of gold is, man, even something like this, what is it, 1/10 of an ounce? If an ounce of gold is $2,500, this is $250, right, in this little thing, which makes things a lot more convenient if you ever have to go away, right? The moment in which you start piling up way too much silver, well, that's a nice problem to have, but eventually you may want to put a little bit more of that into some of those tinier little more convenient coins, in case you have to bug out and not carry around a bunch of heavy silver, right? Guys, that's basically all of the advice I have for you right now. Easiest thing, go online, buy something from a reputable seller in its Silver Eagle format, right? This would be one of the best bets in terms of, if everything goes to hell, one of these coins will buy you, enough food to get by, maybe shelter for a day. Traditionally, this is what a cowboy would get paid, right? Well, maybe not this one, but maybe one of these. And yeah, depending on how good or bad you were, maybe it was 1, maybe it was 5 of these a day. Not a lot more, because people did not throw away money, never. But the denarius, the idea of this being the like minimum wage thing, yeah, and something like this is something that, as the economy crashes and goes to hell, as the US dollar starts losing more and more, 35 of those pieces of paper will not be the equivalent to a sizable silver coin. In fact, one of the criticisms that these had when they came out were that they were just too big. They wanted something smaller because this was just too much money. And yes, the coin was big, but it was too much money. People were used to, haggling a lot more. No, wait a minute, a big ass piece of silver. What are you, crazy? No, give me the smaller stuff, right? Swiss, always smart people. And yeah, in terms of US, if you make friends with a good a pawn shop guy or some guy buying and selling stuff like that, yes, get yourself a few of these too, a few bags of those. And then there's other things that you have to keep in mind. My first piece of advice, and remember, I'm not giving any financial advice here of any kind. You do you, whatever the hell that is. You want to buy silver, go buy gold, or burn it. I mean, do whatever. I would actually encourage you to look into Bitcoin quite a bit, which is something that has outperformed everything that you see here, right? So those are things for you to look into. Now, when the final decision comes in terms of you spending money or not, or using it in one way or another, my advice is don't dispose of anything you cannot get, you cannot do without, right? That would be the first thing. These things, as nice as they are, at the time of selling, it's not nearly as easy. Actually, that's one of the advantages of Bitcoin. You can buy, sell in a matter of seconds and get actual money in an account or cash very quickly, right? In the modern age that we live in, that is a huge advantage. So I'm pretty serious about that too. I think Bitcoin is something you definitely should look into. And that I do have a referral code that will actually give you a nice little bonus of if you buy $100 from Coinbase, you get $110. So it's a nice 10% little extra. I get a 10% extra. Well, not 10%. It's $10. When you get the kickback from using the referral. So yeah, that's awesome. $10 extra for you and for me. Much appreciated if you do use that. But my advice in that regard is have $100. See how it goes. Learn how to use it in your cell phone. Oh, I don't trust this scam. Well, yeah, look into it. Learn shit. It's always important. And then there's other things that you also may want to consider doing. I have my nice little HK P7 here. Why? Because it's a great gun. It's one of the most refined semi-automatic pistols ever made. Yeah, sure. It fires 9mm. That's also very nice if you ever need to defend yourself, which I cannot do with any of this stuff, right? And it has appreciated over the years as art. So when you have something that starts piling value on top of it, like it's precious metal, it is rare, it is collectible, it has numismatic value, or it may grow in numismatic value as years go by, yeah, maybe that's something I want to look into. Sure, be smart about it. Don't have it all bunched up in a bag like you would do with junk silver. No, you take a little bit more care of that. As time goes by, it just keeps on going up in a ridiculous way in price. Well, yes, of course. That's something that I'm interested in, and I'll take care of that. I won't abuse it. Maybe use it every once in a while, but keeping in mind that, yeah, that's kind of a little bit of money in there. This would be a good representation of that. It also goes for tools, knives, stuff like that. How much is a Glock knife worth now? Well, mine, not much. It's pretty beat up, but I have a bunch of them that are completely unused, and those used to sell for $20. Now you're not going to find them for $20. Now they're going for like 30. So it's what, 50% in a few years? That's nice. Now I don't want to have fucking container full of Glock knives, but if I'm going to be buying a little bit of extra of something, I like knowing that quality, brand name, country of origin, all of these things make part of what the value of that thing is objectively, as of how much I paid for that or not. These are things that as years go by, it will matter. ZT, this knife when it first came out, I don't even remember how much it was. I did not buy it when it first came out. I had to pay a little bit extra because I was not clever or quick enough to buy it when it first came out. I bought it a few years later and paid more. But guess what? Now it's worth twice what I paid for this thing. Why? Because it's rare, because it's made in US, because it's made of the finest materials available at the time, and all of these things add up to something that will sustain and more likely than not increase its value as time goes by, okay? So you like knives? Well, maybe learn a little bit more about those things. And always keep in mind, you want to have still that cash. You still want to have that rainy day money, at least a couple months worth of expenses in terms of, I'm good. Something happens, I have room, I have time to figure stuff out, right? I have to leave, I have to carry all my stuff. Bitcoin will weigh nothing. This will weigh quite a bit. These will certainly wait and will not be easily converted to cash as maybe some of these other things will. The most handy thing of all, what I already have in hand, cash in hand at the moment, right? And what about these? Well, these suckers are worth a lot of money. These were the ones that were hidden in clothes by special agents working behind enemy lines in World War II, right? The OSS, the special service officers, right? Those guys, they would have a bunch of, well, maybe it was, I think it was more like these, the ones that they had hitting, the sovereigns, right? Gold sovereigns. This is a lot of money right now, man. So all of these things, super lightweight, a lot of money, but the moment in which you want to sell that, yeah, you'll be taking a hit. Guys, keep all of that in mind, and as always, prepare. I have a bunch of advice, not only in the channel here, which you can look up in the search function, but also in the books available in the links below, and whatever I find interesting, I'll let you know there as well. If you're gonna get into Bitcoin, I would strongly suggest you get a hardware wallet. No idea what I'm talking about? Don't worry. I'll leave the link for that there too. You definitely wanna get that and learn how to use it, okay? See you on our next video. Take care.